I'm Heather Hellman, the creator of the Spark Method and founder of the Spark Soul Society. My work is about one thing: raising consciousness through safe spaces, wellness, and amplifying each other's energy, geniuses, and gifts. We live in a time where mental health, mindset, are embodied practices. They aren't just nice to have, these are survival tools that are essential for everyday living. We can't thrive alone anymore. We amplify when we come together. The Spark Method is rooted in mind, body, and soul work because transformation isn't just mindset, it's nervous system regulation, it's conscious expansion, it's embodiment of who you are and what you want to be. And the truth is that at the beginning of every journey, it's born from chaos. And with a leap, that's what today's episode is about: finding your place on the fool's journey. And today I'm so grateful because I get to welcome probably the initiator of this fool's journey for me, Valerie Walters, the creator, founder of Myth Media, and published author of the Grimoire of Abundance. And I am so proud of you because this is a true full circle moment for me. Hi, and welcome, Valerie.
Hi. Thank you for having me here. It is so good to talk with you and meet with you on here. I can't wait to get started on this fool's journey that we got going on.
Same. So first and foremost, I'd love for you to tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you did, and we'll kind of start sharing our story of how we met and where that comes to. Okay, so tell everyone what you do.
So Myth Media, actually, I opened it through you. You were my coach, my mentor, and I can't wait to express to everybody how thankful and literally what the process was of you getting me here today. But Myth Media, what I am is I'm a graphic design and animation business. I help businesses either create their identity, whether it be logo, business card, website design, or clients with like wedding, baby shower, invitation designs, and similar things like that.
I love it. So this aligns with what I previously did as an entrepreneur. For those of you who are following along and just joining us, I, for many years, have been in marketing. I was a strategist, a brand amplifier, if you will. It's what I lovingly call the reflection of my past self. I created a marketing agency that expanded from consulting individually all the way into an agency that was created. We served in the health, beauty, and wellness sector, but we took on a lot of different types of logos and brands. And through that, I had the beautiful opportunity of aligning to this gorgeous soul in front of us. So Valerie came in through, at the time, kind of towards the end of what was my marketing agency. And we offered an internship program to which you found us. Was that how the story goes? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like recalling it right now. Yeah, it was towards the end, but I also recall you were looking for someone to help with the Spark podcast because that's when you were initially, I think, trying to boost it up then. Tell me a little bit more about that because it's a gray area for me.
No, this is great. So it's funny because at the time that you initially came into my marketing agency, I was at this interesting pass of a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, especially in the visionary state. We can both probably validate this here. When you realize that there's something else that sparks your joy, your passion, and you're circling it. At the time, I had two other people that were going to be on the Spark podcast with me, and we had this whole idea, and we did. We recorded a few episodes, we had a little bit of momentum, and then, as life does, it wasn't time and it wasn't right. And I really still had to sew up and kind of say, hey, let's figure out either what you're doing with this agency or completely get into this next chapter. And as a lot of us, I think, do, whether it's even beginning our own thing or starting the next thing, I found myself holding on really tightly to all that I already had, and the life and universe source having other plans catastrophically telling me, no, ma'am, you have a greater purpose and you have done your time with what this is, but I need you to move on. And I was reluctant. I was kicking and screaming, holding on to every last inch of what was this marketing agency, even though it was truly a tower moment and falling apart at the seams. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't even think you coming into the program knew much of that experience of what I was dealing with on the ground. I felt like everything was burning down around me. And even though I was trying to like send off like flares of help, like, hey, Spark Podcast, hey, Spark Soul Society, I had this idea of safe, conscious spaces and elevated experiences. I had no real formula in place. And that's the crazy thing, because as someone who is a visionary, as someone who's a strategist for brands, here I am coming in with no real plan. And that was probably my first mistake. And here we are. I think that's the greatest gift of like what I would have done differently in this instance.
Yeah.
And I can even rewind it back further to my marketing agency, which kind of brings us back into a very mirrored situation. So you worked with me as an intern, and during your time, you were originally one of the part of Oaks. You did the original logo design for the Spark podcast.
Yeah,
And
it was so amazing there too, because I was, oh, what was it? I think I was in contact with your assistant at that time when she was still around with Well Minded Media and everything. And I don't know how it fell, but I did this first design for, I think, Refined Beauty.
something to
And
that.
yeah, and from there, she was just like, you got to talk to Heather. I think she's really going to like some of your designs. And I think she contacted you about it too.
Yeah.
And so my project became the Spark podcast and the initial design for that.
Which is crazy because I can tell you the last few years, like at the infancy of when we began an internship program, it ran really great. It was really well organized. My assistant was God. I couldn't have done what I did without that one beautiful human soul keeping me on the path, because she really did help keep me organized, even though I'm a very organized person. I never really got involved with the internships unless they were seriously showing a real like skill set that probably could be used, carried on, or like someone we would consider for employment down the line. So usually when she would involve me, it was like, hey, I think there's some talent here. I think there's some genius. And with a little bit of your finesse, let's see what she can do. And I was like, all right, well, she felt so confident in your abilities. And I had seen your design work, obviously, because I worked directly with the client still, even in that time. So I was seeing what would come through from the different departments and interns. And I remember thinking, oh, she's got this almost mythical, which I love because this comes full circle. She's got this esoteric styling. And for what I was leaning in towards, which was a very new category for me, going from very corporate professional into unwinding into this undertone and layers of spirituality and energy and consciousness, taking wellness and turning it to a different degree that I was used to, right? I took it out of corporate medical and put it into this now pseudosciences. And you took my vision, and it is still a design that I'm going to have a tattoo of somewhere on my body at some point. Like, it is so beautiful what you created. And I want to honor it still even to today. But even with that, I think time had happened and the agency was slowly kind of in the decline. COVID really changed the dynamics of what I had as an agency, and it didn't take very long before things became more and more of a challenge, not just on finding work, but finding clients and helpful supporting staff that really understood the mission and wanted to show up and work. So, as those things kind of shifted and rolled off, and I became more of a careless leader and wasn't really engaged with what I should have been, because I was putting all my attention into something else, and it unfolded. So I'm not quite sure where we had stepped off. You had gone through some pretty traumatic things during that time frame.
Yeah.
I think we had connected on, and I know that that is why Myth Media was born. So what I want to kind of come to is there's maybe a 2 years now that have transpired where between you helping establish what is now finally living and pressing play forward on as the Sparked podcast, and I'm so stoked. Um, what happened on your end, Valerie? Tell me a little bit about now there's no longer a position that is going to be able to be created. The agency has kind of we kind of just dissolved, and now you're kind of on your own journey. So give a little bit of that background story so everyone can understand just how crazy this leap of faith has to be when you begin starting your next chapter, your new journey, or your own business.
Yeah, honestly, I think this ties in perfectly with the Fool's Journey too, because one thing I want to take with the Fool's Journey is that this is not something that happens overnight. I do believe that when you think of the Fool's Journey, it is something that is given in time and doesn't just take place right away. It is a process, it is a journey. You know what I mean? Like, it is an adventure with
It is
ups and
not knowing what is happening next at every
downs.
single turn. Every single day is literally stepping into the void and having to imagine, create, trust, an
Yes.
unwavering trust, a discipline in trust almost, of belief in self belief and awareness that you are
Yeah.
capable of achieving this, right? Like, it's a really exercised discipline, and it's not for the meek by any stretch.
Yes, and the reason why I wanted to say that is because this is where the beginning was. I beginning of that year, and I'm very open to the story because that's why Myth Media was created. So you're getting like the initial story of
Give
everything.
it to us. Yeah, tell everyone. I love hearing it.
Beginning of the year, my little brother Alex had passed away. And before that, him and I had gotten into a brother sister fight, as brother and sisters do. You know, we used to hang out all the time, and with me having full time work, full time school, that's where we collided sometimes and had little fights. Well, this one in particular, we just did not have a good fight, did not end well. So we took some time apart, and I was going to invite him to my graduation as I was going to be speaking. And unfortunately, before I got to that point for us to come back together, he had passed away. And so later that year, I don't know how I got through it to this day, but I still gave that speech. I still walked the line, got my degree and everything. And I want to say that I think I was just trying to keep myself moving. I was in a lot of despair. I was overthinking left and right, didn't know where I was going to go, kind of just floating and existing, surviving at its finest kind of thing.
Yeah. Which
And
most people do, by the way. Like, it's
yes,
okay that we find ourselves in a lost place, also searching and seeking for more, right? Like, that knowing that we feel lost is usually because there's something else that we're just like keeping inside of a box and saying, no, you can't come out and
yeah,
shine this light for everybody because I'm not even sure what it is. And so we kind of keep it tucked away, this
yeah.
like excellence, this genius, this like fired up creative, she just gets put back in the box, and you're like, you're not ready for the world yet. I don't know that they're ready for you. So
Yeah, and I mean this wholeheartedly, and anyone, of course, who has lost someone so deeply to them will understand. You know, there's a point in time where you kind of float and you just exist. You don't know where you're going. And even if you haven't lost a loved one, everyone's been in that pit of what is tomorrow even going to look like? Is there even a tomorrow? That sort of thing. And as I was just working in an office job, just helping with documents, transferring things from physical to digital, that sort of thing, very simple. I got a message from your assistant, and she was like, "Hey, I looked over your stuff. I think you'd be a really great fit. I would love to talk and meet with you." And I don't know what it was, but I leaped for it. Like, in that moment, I wanted to cry. I felt like everything that I had built for in that moment of going through school, I felt like it didn't go wasted.
yeah,
Because in that moment, I didn't feel like I was anybody, and someone was sitting here being like, I see you, I'm going to give you a chance.
Ah, I'm
And I
so glad we did. I'm so glad we did. I'm grateful to her, who's still a charmed
think,
part of my life, and I'm honored to know that she connected us, because
yeah,
from that moment forward gave us an opportunity. And I did get to learn your story once we picked up and started working more closely, because of the fact that the Spark podcast was my own personal endeavor. I got to align and work directly with you to give you the
yeah,
feedback, the direction, which gave us a lot of opportunity to sit on Zooms and FaceTimes and share, learn, and grow together. And it was in that time that I did find out about your loss and your grievances.
I
And
found out. And I feel bad in this instance because I was trying to hold it together in the
mm,
sense where, like, how do you tell your new boss, like, hey, I'm going through this whole grievance and I need a moment to myself? It's just hard because you don't know going, and you were my first business, my first, like, real life scenario. So I didn't know how this was going to be.
sure,
I have been warned by my professors before, like, you know, whenever you get out there, you can't be picky and choosy. You put your best foot forward. And I just remember us getting on call and I just looked a mess. And everything had stopped. And you said, are you okay? Like it was just a pause, talk about the project anymore. It was you reaching out to me. And I felt like that's what I needed because as soon as you said that, I broke down. I
yeah.
remember,
I remember. I remember realizing for the first time in a long time as a leader the compassion that needed to be had and held for other people's life experiences. It was a really big sounding alarm for me to go that when you do work with people every day, we have no idea what is happening behind the scenes. We have no real grasp, and people don't share their personal stories and endeavors, especially and maybe comfortably over time in a workspace. But, you
yeah,
know, out of the gate, those aren't usual defined things that happen. And whether I know this about myself in life or not, but I think, Valerie, you were the first time for me in a long time from a corporate environment that I had been brought up. It was the first time I allowed the veil of vulnerability to shift as the boss, as the employer, as the leader, and welcome in that space and hold space and offer compassion.
you
And
did. I'm getting more chills. Like, you really held space for me then. I remember talking to you, and I had found out, I don't know, I think it was on accident, but like you were working a project at a time with me because at that point I was also working 12-hour shifts at a
yeah.
warehouse. I had moved, worked 12-hour shifts at a warehouse, and you were giving me a project at a time, feeding me. I think I even joked about like it being little Scooby snacks to like keep
To
me
get
going
you incentivized. Yeah.
because you
Well,
didn't
I
load
didn't
me.
want to overwhelm you and I didn't want to break you. And I knew you had a genius that needed to be nurtured. And so I wanted to lean in and offer that. And I think, to fast forward, moving from that, as that kind of unveiled, we did that for a few months. And of course, inevitably, that that chapter closed for both of us because I was kind of dismantling and trying to again dissolve what was the agency itself and go just back into consulting and
Yeah.
try to figure out myself for the first time in a long time. And so then we kind of left each other's journey. And then one day, and I did go back and look, it was in November of 2024
Oh,
that
wow.
I received your message. And I want to ask, so coming full circle, hadn't seen Valerie in almost 2 years at that point. Haven't spoke, since we basically had the conversations of I want you to do well and all the good things,
Yeah.
nothing but love sent to you as we both transitioned into our next phases of what we needed to do. And then out of the blue, I received this text message from you, and I want to take it back. I want you to kind of quickly and briefly tell everyone what that was, because I want to be able to have enough time to walk through some of this and really tell my side of where I was when you
Yeah.
found me.
So, just briefly, I sent this message because I was joking around. In school, I wanted to open a business, and my brother Alex also wanted to open a business. And him and I were going to work together. I was going to be his graphic designer. He was going to open a skateboard agency, and you know, fuel dreams. I'll put it is he wanted to fuel dreams. Well, with him passing away, I was talking to my mom and my dad, and I was like, what if I just opened a business? Like, it could be graphic design. I wouldn't be on the sidelines anymore. And that's when they gave me permission to use Myth, because that was going to be his business name. And so Myth Media came in. The media part was from Well Minded Media. As that being my first ever job, the person that held space for me, I became Myth Media, and that's what I wanted my name to be. And in that, when I said, yes, this is what I'm going to do, it's like a voice. I don't know if someone came to me. I don't know if it was my brother or someone that just in between us, connecting us. But something in me was like, talk to Heather. Bring that energy back, call it in. Not sure what it was, but all I heard was talk to Heather. And I was so nervous typing up the message, deleting it, typing it up, deleting it. And I'm so glad that it led us to where we are today.
Same. When I received that message, I think the interesting part is so fast forward for me, 2023, 2024 had become very hard years. Between 2023 and 2024, I had lost everything. Trying to lean into different avenues of what was Spark Soul Society, trying to figure out this newfound spiritual awakening part of myself that I didn't really know where it was guiding me. It was just this urgency and force. And I was resisting it so hard because I didn't know what it was. It was very new. It was this scary change from everything else that I had known before. And I thought, well, if this is a gift, I'm not supposed to charge for it. If healing others, awakening others, working with others' energy, I didn't really even know where to begin, and I was like, people are gonna think I'm
Yeah.
absolutely fucking crazy. Like, they're gonna think I'm crazy. And I was struggling with this crazy imposter syndrome. I was shaming myself, this self-worth. I had been in a spiral I hadn't been in, because I came from a very esteemed corporate position where not only was I a killer, I was amplified and celebrated by my peers, and I was thriving in a very male dominated environment, and I learned a lot, I understood a lot, and I felt very empowered from all of that. And when I went into my own marketing agency, and as momentum built and I scalably had all these different clients and started to watch how I could hire and take on other things, even if I was screwing it up along the way, there was so many things that I
Oh,
still like, no, I've got this.
yeah. I forgot, you know, you did this all on your own. Like, while I've had you as a mentor, there's that realization and that memory that just keeps back that you did this on your own. You started from actually,
Talk about a fool in the journey. I absolutely took every blind step to try to find a way to do what I was doing, and right and wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are tons of people sitting on the other side of this who, if they listen or find this, they are probably still like, screw you, you screwed me, this, that, the other. And it's like, that's business. Unfortunately, it's for better, for worse. I didn't have all the right answers. I didn't have all the right ways. And it was a learning task force. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a coach. Those weren't really tools or resources that were so amplified and available. That shit started really after COVID. And people really didn't start because how were we? Right. And I think people started to really waken into this idea space that, let me show you how not to do the things that I did wrong the first time. Let me help you remove blocks that are challenges and struggles that you experience with your own mind, with your own life. and how to navigate those and still curate your vision, stay focused on the vision, and put your energy into the alignment of the things you say you really want, your goals and your dreams. When you
And
found me, go ahead.
sorry, not to go off,
Yo,
but
yeah, go
take
ahead.
a pause before we go forward. I actually, since we're talking about the fool's journey, I think your story is very inspiring, and I think that's what inspired me a lot and stuff. Just hearing about you and hearing everything you do. Can we take it back to your hardships of like where you began? Like wasn't it scary?
Oh
A
my
terrible
gosh. I mean,
start, especially.
both journeys have always been scary. The first time when I launched the marketing agency, I was so full of ego, expertise, and wisdom that I just was ready for a change and didn't care what it was. I just knew that I could do it, and I just crashed into it. And going into the sparked method and creating something that really is a unique space in this industry, pseudosciences, mental health, wellness, energy, um, was terrifying. It's been terrifying. When you reached out to me and that text message hit me, I was depressed. I was at rock bottom. I was about to financially lose everything. Like, I sold everything I had, right down to my car, down to every piece of anything that I had here, just to try to figure out how I was surviving, because I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I didn't know where to start. I didn't see a light. I didn't have the faith to take a step blindly. And then this beautiful text message of, hey, I've been thinking a lot about wanting to start something. And I thought it'd be really amazing if, we could talk and I could pick your brain for a minute. And I thought to myself, what? What is happening that this person really truly wants to like reach out to me? Because when, in my mind, the way that I was remembering things is like, she was at the epitome of the fall of my agency, not at my highest reign. And so why would she want to ask me, why would she want to ask me? And I thought immediately, well, I'd love to chat with her. I'd love to see where her life is. I hope that, knowing what I knew about the loss of Alex and where you were at, any of the above was going to be a positive start. And when we reconnected and you shared your vision and what you wanted to do, it was like you sparked that moment for me. You brought to me the air that I needed to breathe again and say, Heather, this is what you do. This is who you are. This is at your core. What you do is help others. You see their genius, their light, their beauty. You see all of the details that make this creation that they want to take, and you can unlock it for them. You can amplify it, and maybe you can give them the bumper rails to stay on course, to focus on who they really say they want to become, and help them align their life and soul purpose by doing so. And
Yes,
I had no program, I had no outline, I had no framework. And I feel like overnight, because you immediately agreed to, when I said this offer of, let me mentor you, let me step in and see if I can be your mentor, it was like go time. It was like this immediate green light from the universe to myself that said, I don't know what this is, but it's the first time in a long time that I really feel like leaning in and trusting it. And I don't know
yeah,
why, but I think it's going to change the way people do things and the way that I objectively see the world, and how I want to help support and elevate the experiences for everything that comes into my center of awareness. And then it really clicked that this whole thing that I wanted to do with Spark Soul Society, creating safe, conscious spaces, was really, I needed to start with creating conscious, aware, elevated energy for people. And the rest has just kind of started to slowly roll into place. And here we are. Here's Valerie, 8 months later, a published author and a Myth Media owner, attending conferences, supporting clients on bids with new clients, and looking to step into fulfillment of continuing her journey, her vision, and her successes. What is that like for you? How do you feel? What is it like being on the other side of having this mentorship?
Oh goodness. It's amazing because as you go through it, things take time. You have to be patient with yourself. And, while you don't see it as you're taking the steps forward, me sitting back right now, like I have a business, I've had clients, I'm working with like two or three clients right now with my business.
Mm-hmm.
And all deviate from you, all deviate from you building not only myself, my mind, spirit, body, and soul, but building this business world with me. And I want to take that in a little bit in the sense where, in the beginning, I thought it was just going to be my business. Like, that's going to be my focus. We're going to build the business. And the first thing you came to me about was, how are you eating? I was like, huh? You were like, what is your routine like? What do you like? How do you take care of your body? What's the best way for you to relax? And I was like, well, this is weird. I mean, I guess I take
The
walks.
method to her madness, the spark method was born. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I take walks, I take baths, and I remember you going in fully on me, be like, are you a Gemini? Because we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure out what makes you tune into your soul, what makes you tune into yourself, recall and claim all that you can for you. And I think the biggest part in us meeting, and I'm pretty sure you remember this, but in the beginning, I was very much an overthinker. I remember messaging you all the time with questions or being like, what if this? What if that? What about this? And now I kind of trust in the process. It's like trusting in the universe. You taught me that the universe wants the best for you, wants to
Oh,
give to you, has
oh,
ready. You just have to get there and you have to build your highest self for that. And whenever I realized, and people are probably going to be like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm sitting here with nothing. In the beginning, I had nothing. I had a roof over my head and that was about it.
in the beginnings, I've had nothings too. And in the beginning, for each journey, each
Yeah.
fool's leap, I started from an absolute rock bottom, an absolute chaos, an absolute no way of seeing where I was supposed to go. And it was in this ultimate reach of self and finding in my mind that one belief system that said, it's got to be better than this, and it will
Yeah.
be. And I thank you, because thank you for letting me start unraveling and unfolding what is the fool's journey. To watch you step into this and to be on what is the beginning of the other side. I can't wait to welcome you back in more and future episodes of What is the Sparked, and continue enlightening others on what this journey looks like, not just in entrepreneurship, not just in creation, but in mind, body, soul, and how to create your life and soul purpose together. It's this is where we turn chaos into awareness and become the observer in our life, so we can outwardly apply what we know, who we are, and use that energy to empower others. And it is with that fool's leap that we become the magician, the master of our skill sets and our geniuses, realizing that we hold all the tools, all the power inside of us to create the life of our dreams. And that's what's next. So I hope that your leap continues to let you spark and catch you in any direction that you seek. And I know, we're just telling stories, but this is just the beginning of the journey. And I'm so glad you were a fool with me, and that you believed in this fool enough to find our light and our way. And here we are sharing it with the world. And I look forward to, you know, enlightening and raising the consciousness together. And thank you so much, Valerie. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. And Oh my goodness. It is so amazing to be on this journey with you, to see how far we've come. So thank you for letting me be on this with you. It is such an honor to be on your first episode. I'm,
Oh,
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you. Thank you. I receive that and I amplify that. And for those who are looking for that reset, that blind faith, that support, that cheerleader, the Spark Method is here and ready when you are ready. And I can't wait to amplify and unlock the light in each of you. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time on The Sparked.